All right, guys, I wanted to make a one-stop shopping for reviewing transformations when the quadratic is in vertex form, even when it's not in vertex form. Really what our goal is here is to show how does the graph move in comparison to the parent graph. So there are several things we're going to look at. What's most important is your A value and your vertex. So your A value, if there's a plus out front, there's really not going to be a plus. So if there's no sign, that means it's plus. That means the graph is going to be opening up. That's no transformation. But if it's negative, that means the graph is going to open down. And that means there's a reflection. So you'll want to note if there's a negative sign out front. Okay? The A value itself, the absolute value of A, remember that means ignore any sign. If the absolute value of A is less than 1, we call it a shrink. It makes the graph fatter, so it gets wider than the parent. If the absolute value of A is greater than 1, we call that a stretch. And that makes it narrower than the parent, makes it longer and skinnier. All right. The other 2 points that are really important is this H value. Remember, the H value is the X value of the vertex. If it says X minus H squared, so X minus a number squared, that means the whole graph is going to move right. Because remember, we were taking this and solving it. So if you have X minus H equals 0, and you add the H to both sides to get X alone, you get X equals positive H, which would be having it move right. If it says X plus H, when you solved it, the H would have to become negative to move to the other side. So that's actually moving the entire graph left. Okay. We have our K value. Our K value is our Y value of our vertex. If it says plus K, the graph moves up. If it says minus K, the graph is going to move down. All right, so these are what we need to keep in mind when we're answering these transformation questions. All right, so I will do these first 3. Your assignment will be to do the next 3, and I'll do the first 2 on the bottom, and you'll do the other 2. All right, so in our first equation, it is not in standard form, but this is the same as saying X minus 0 squared, and then we have plus 5. We can work, so that would show a vertex of 0, 5. And that would mean it didn't move left or right, but it did go up 5. There's no A value to talk about a stretch or a shrink, and there's no negative sign to show that there is a reflection. The other way you can look at that, because it is in standard form, is the negative B over 2A, because really your vertex tells you your horizontal and vertical. There is no B value. It's 0. Your A value is 1. So you go 0 over 2, which is 0, which is what we got. And when you plug that back in to get the Y, you end up with 5. So vertex 0, 5, up 5. I want to change this number to a 2. Our vertex here is negative 9, negative 2. All right, so negative 9 means it's going to go left. Negative 2 here means it's going to go down. And we have a number greater than 1 up front, so we're going to have a stretch by 2. We're going to go left 9 and down 2. Okay. For our last one, here we have a number less than 1, so that makes it a shrink by 1/2. The vertex that is a 10. There's nothing left listed out here. That's the same as saying plus 0. So a positive 10 means you're going to go right, and 0 means you're not moving up or down at all. So then we're going to go right 10. All right. So after you finish watching the video, finish these 3 problems. And you're going to finish these problems down here, take a picture and upload them. So I will do one of these. We're going to write this in Vertex form. Remember, Vertex form is y equals a x minus h squared plus k. So when I read the words, it says it's going to shift right 4. So I'm going to write this as the vertex and up 3. So there's what the vertex would be. When you plug it back in, remember when we take the x value out, we take the opposite of it. They didn't mention anything for the a value, so it's going to stay 1. You don't have to write it. I'm just going to write it to kind of help us. X, that's a plus 4, but when it goes in here, it goes minus 4, and then up 3. So your assignment for today, finish these 3 problems, and these 3 problems, take a picture and upload them. Email me if you have any questions.